Ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined now by NFL Hall of Famer Walter Jones. He's been kind enough to give us a few minutes of his time. Walter, how you been, sir?
I've been good, man. Enjoying the good weather up here in Seattle, man. So it's been great.
That's great, and thank you again. Walter, you played 12 seasons, 180 games. You've only ever given up 23 sacks and only 9 holding calls in 5,703 pass attempts. What do you credit all this success to?
I don't know. I think it's just trying to be consistent. Watching guys before me, I had a great opportunity to watch guys. When I first got into football, I had a chance to watch Anthony Munoz. He had a tape out there that showed techniques, and so I kind of watched that all the time. And then once I got in the league, I had an opportunity to watch guys like Jonathan Ogden and Tony Baselli, Orlando Pace, really Rowe. So those guys went out and dominated all the time. So that was easy to watch and say, the coach used to tell me, if you want to be good, watch these guys. So I just continued to keep watching those guys and watch how those guys dominated the game. So every year I just tried to do that, to try to stay consistent. And I learned that in this game you have to be consistent and play at a very high level for a long time. So that's what I was trying to do. And I was totally blessed to be able to play that long.
And let's talk about that magical 2005 season you guys had. The Seahawks were great that season. Sean Alexander won the 2005 MVP, 2005 rushing leader, and he also tied Priest Holmes with the most touchdowns in a season. First off, I hope he treated you guys to dinner. And how special was that season, seeing Sean's success relating to you?
It was very special, man. I think it was a situation where, Coach Honker came in and, he was, this team, we wasn't doing that good. And, he was coming off, some Super Bowl appearances with Green Bay. So for us as a young team, a team that never experienced that, all we wanted to do was listen to him and follow him. So, and that's what we did. So in that 2005 season, everything that he was teaching us, the offense, it finally clicked. And the game changed easy for everybody. So, and that's what happened to a lot of the great teams. Once everybody is on the same page, that's how easy the game get. And I think what we did was we made it very easy for Sean. If a running back is going in there and all he has to do is worry about one guy, and I think that's what we taught as offensive linemen. We're going to leave you one guy that you got to make a move, and Sean was pretty good at, making that one guy miss, and that usually might be a backside linebacker or a safety. So that was pretty, we made it pretty easy for him that he had to worry about all those guys because we did a great job of covering those guys up and being very athletic. So and make hope for Sean. So we definitely was taking full advantage of the opportunity that we was giving him.
Right, he gets all his accolades, but there's no way he could have done that without that left side of your offensive line and Max Strong. You guys were absolutely great, and you ended up going into the Super Bowl that year. You guys only scored 10 points in that game, and the only touchdown came off a Stevens touchdown set up by a 76-yard interception by Stevens. I'm sorry. What do you guys think you could have done differently in that game to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know. I think the thing about it, though, we didn't play our game. I think, a lot of things was done through that game to kind of take us out of the game. But, we can make fun of it now with people and stuff. But I think the thing that happened to us is that we just didn't play a good football game as a unit. Not saying nothing about the defense, but as a unit for us, we didn't play because we have been in tougher situations and stuff like that, and we was able to overcome those situations. And that's one thing we was not able to do was to overcome those situations. And I put that on us and the offensive linemen and the offense that we just didn't do enough to win that game.
And we're speaking with 9-time Pro Bowler Walter Jones. Walter, you made it look very easy. In my opinion, you're the best to ever do it. We'll get to that in a few seconds. But who was the toughest defensive player you ever had to guard?
Oh, man, I get that question all the time. And I think, once your name starts circling around and you get the respect of your peers, for me, when I was coming into the league, I feared guys like Derek Thomas, Bruce Smith, OC from the Giants. So, I just can't name like one guy. I just remember that once my name started floating around, and you start shut guys out, you know, every guy I went against gave me their A game. So every game was a battle, man. So, you know, you say you make it look easy, but those guys definitely was coming out there to make a name for themselves. So, and for me, I think that made me work even harder to stay focused. To say, okay, I can't go out here and let these guys get a sack or do this because, you know, my name is floating around like he's pretty good. So, you know, you have to go out there and totally be focused every game. So, and that was fun because, you know, you like the competition and you want those guys to give you your best. So I would say all the guys, man, they definitely gave me fits, man, and made me definitely work.
And you spent your whole career with the Seattle Seahawks. Can you speak on their fans, the whole 12th man, that whole atmosphere? What's it like being, you know, playing behind those kind of fans?
Hey, man, it's pretty awesome, man. I tell you, man, to be able to finish my whole career here in Seattle, man, it was pretty cool, and that you know, the fans are definitely, they love their players, and you know, we kind of started it when they decided to get us out of the Kingdome, and then we went to Husky Stadium, and you know, we kind of started clicking then, and the fan base definitely got behind it. I'm saying the fan base wasn't there before, but once we opened up that new stadium, we was able to go out there and put a great product on the football field, and they definitely, these fans love their Seattle Seahawks, man. So for me, I just enjoy the fact that they love you. They still love you now. I can go around town and they still appreciate those moments and that definitely makes me feel good that they still can reminisce about how well we played together as a unit, and they still love us today. So I definitely enjoy that.
And from what I understand, you got into photography now and even a sideline photographer for the Seattle Sounders, the MLS team. Is that correct?
That's correct, man. You know, I was you know, a lot of times people think that you have these moments where you're trying to figure out what you're gonna do, but you know, I've been blessed that, you know, I don't have to worry about that. You know, I've done a great job of preparing myself out for football, and so I just wanted to, you know, I always had a camera when I used to go out with my kids on vacation. I always would have a camera and all that stuff. So I just wanted to be a part of something. So what I did was, you know, I had a friend that was in that business doing that, and I was telling her, like, that'll be cool to be something to do. And, you know, he took me out and just kind of like showed me some ins and outs of working the camera, because, you know, at that point, all I knew was just picking up the camera and taking pictures. So, and I got a chance to meet the Sounders, to be a part of that organization, man. It was great. So right now I'm just learning, man. I get a chance to be around that all the time, man, and hopefully one day, you know, I can get that shot to be put up somewhere or be showed somewhere. So I think that's the end goal. But I just enjoy it, man. I enjoy the fact that I get a chance to see other players in the area, just not alone just the football players. I get a chance for guys. Hopefully I get a chance to do the Mariners game one game. So, you know, it's an opportunity to kind of connect with those guys. So then now when you're doing stuff in the community, those guys will come out and lend a hand. So I think that's the cool thing about it sometimes.
And I know that you're still follow the Seattle Seahawks. You're an avid fan. You live there, like you mentioned. What's your feeling on the team this year? Sherman is gone. Cam Chancellor had to retire due to injury. We don't know what Earl Thomas's status is going to be. What's your take on the team heading into the season?
I think that, you know, this is it's not like a rebuilding. I think they still got the nucleus guys here that have been to a Super Bowl. You got Russell Wilson, you got Bobby Wagner, you got Doug Baldwin. So you still got guys, and we don't know what's going to happen with Earl, but almost if nothing happen, I think he's going to be ready once the season starts. So I think the team is definitely still got a target on their back that this team have definitely set the standard, and they're one of the teams that everybody want to beat still. You know, even though you got the Rams, you got the 49ers that is definitely have improved from the years before, but still, and again, I think it's still Seattle is the team that they want to definitely show the world that, hey, we can come in every Sunday and beat this team. And until they do that, you know, Seattle is still the team, I think, even though They didn't win the division last year. I still think that Seattle is the team to beat, and still their team prove us wrong. But I think it's going to be a change of guard. I think that the offense is going to grow. You know, with Dwayne Dwayne Brown got a year under his belt, an off season here. I think he's going to definitely go out here and ball like the way he always have. And that definitely, you know, with offensive linemen, when you see a guy that go out there and put the work in, and all the young guys, they learn from that. So I think that's going to be a change of guard where we're going to get back to running the ball and being dominant. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like. And, you know, I'm hoping that they can definitely make some noise this year.
And we're speaking with NFL Hall of Famer Walter Jones. Walter, I know you started 9-6 check, which has to do with your former teammate who had a big impact on you, Cortez Kennedy. Why don't you just tell us a little about that? Because just from reading up on it, it's a terrific cause.
Oh, it definitely is, man. You know what, man? I was, you know, the passing of Cortez was something a shocker to me, and it was a shocker to a lot of guys. So for me, man, you know, once it happened, you know, I got a lot of phone calls from media to do interviews, and I didn't know what to say at that time because, you know, everybody more different though. But once I got a chance to talk about it, you know, the first thing I can remember is that Cortez would call me anytime about anything. So, and that's kind of how I started 9-6 check. That he will call you in the middle of the night and just, hey man, I was just checking on you, see how your family doing. So that's what I wanted to do. I just started thinking about, you build a bond with everybody, just not with your offensive linemen. You build a bond with a lot of guys that you go out there and fight every Sunday. So those guys, that second team, third team, you just want to be able to reach out to those guys and let them know that, hey, we're still part of a team, and if you need anything, we'll do whatever we can to help you. So that's how I started the 9-6 check. And it's not about just players. I get my family involved. I get my friends involved. You know, a lot of times when you're doing stuff with friends, they're all about just calling you to let's go hang out and do that. So, or doing business. And so a lot of times when I'm doing those conversations, I always will ask, hey, how your family doing? How your kids doing? And sometimes that's a shock because a lot of times people think that you're not caring about that stuff. So I try to reinforce that with a lot of my friends just by asking them how their family doing, how their mom doing, and stuff like that, just to let them know that I actually care and it's just not a friendship thing or I'm just doing business with you. I honestly care about you and don't want you to be somewhere suffering and you don't want to tell anybody.
And that's a wonderful thing you do over there, Walter. Knowing the studies that we know today about the concussions and the CTE, have you ever experienced any concussions in your career, and do you experience any lingering effects from your playing time now as a result of playing the game of football?
You know, I can say, I don't document concussion, I don't, but, you know, I think, if you play this game for this long, I think many of us guys that got our bell rung, as they say, back in the days. But as of now, man, I feel healthy. I feel good. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I read what's going on. I talk to former players and stuff like that. So, you know, I think it's a situation you just have to make sure, you know, if that situation happens to you, hoping that you have great people around you that can support you and stuff like that. And that's something that I try to do every day. It's just try to put people, you know, I always tell people, a lot of people know Walter Jones, but they don't know Walter. So I try to let people to understand me and know me, and try to be a true friend to me, to understand all that stuff, but still, when a person is in need, that they can come to you. So that's what I try to do, is just try to put the right kind of people around me that's gonna be there to help me in those times if something like that happens to me.
And lastly, on the topic, just a two-part question. Do you have any regrets playing, and would you ever let your kids play the game of football?
Yeah, I don't regret it, man. I tell people all the time that the league, the NFL, football has definitely been a blessing to me and to my family, so I definitely have no regrets to that. My son, would I let him play? Yes. My son has graduated from high school. He's going off to college now to play football. So, you know, only thing I did was I always tell parents what I did, because, you know, a lot of times when every level the equipment get better, the trainers get better. So for me, when my son started playing, I just made sure that I took it upon myself to make sure that his helmet, even though the team might be doing everything, the schools might be doing everything to make sure that their pads are fitting right, I put it upon myself, not as a player, but just as a parent, to make sure that his helmet is fitting right, his pads are protected where they're supposed to be protected. So that's what I would tell parents. And, and if you make that decision, if you think your son or your daughter is strong enough to play. A lot of times these kids don't develop until late, into high school. So you have to make that choice. And with my situation, my son is solid like me, so that was an easy choice. But, I waited till he came to me and said he wanted to play football. And all I did was just make sure that, everything was fitting him right, and kind of, just supported him as a father.
Now, Walter, being an NFL Hall of Famer, I have to ask you, looking from the inside, looking out, what's your take on Terrell Owens, who now finally makes the Hall of Fame, but is deciding not to attend the Hall of Fame induction ceremony?
That's Terrell. If that's what he want to do, that's on him. I don't have no, my feelings towards him is that he's a brother now, and I'm happy for him that he's finally got that knock on the door to come into Canton. And I tell people all the time, the only thing that I would hate for him is that he can be mad at the voters or whatever he's mad about or whatever he feels. And I think that I hate for him to miss the celebration that the Hall of Fame does for those guys. Once you step on those grounds, once you step off that plane, man, for that entire weekend, they celebrate you. Even though you're going in with a class of guys, it's enough love that they give every guy their individual praise. And I think that's something that, I hate for him to miss that call, because once you get to that point, it's all about you. And for him, a person that always say he's all about him, I don't see why he would miss that opportunity up, because I think what the Hall of Fame does for us on that weekend, for those inductees, man, is so awesome, man. You will never forget that. If you do that and never go back again, you will never forget that weekend of going there and being praised by everybody in that town, man. And they don't care what team they cheer for. They cheer for one team, and that's being in the Hall of Fame. And I hate for him to miss that part of it.
That's definitely a prestige honor, and you 100% deserve to go there. You had a hell of a career. One last question for me, Walter. Today's NFL, you're seeing all these national anthem protests, the players are kneeling down there. Do you have a problem with them kneeling down? What's your whole take on the anthem protest that's been going on these last couple seasons?
I don't have no take, man. I think everybody have a right to do what they want to do. I don't think it affects the game, because those guys still going out there playing football. And I think from that standpoint, as long as it doesn't affect the bottom line, and that's going out there and playing football. And right now, for me personally, I'm a fan. I watch it. I definitely don't speak on it a lot, because it doesn't affect me. I enjoy watching football, and as long as it's on TV, I'm going to watch it.
All right, and the final question for you before we let you go, we appreciate your time. Give us an early Super Bowl prediction. Oh my God, man! I don't know, man. The training camp just started, man. You never know, But I think with the quick the quick turnaround with these teams, man. I got for the AFC. I'm thinking Jacksonville. Jacksonville was pretty close last year, so I'm thinking if they do, some right things, I think they're gonna definitely be right there. So I would say from the NFC, the AFC, Jacksonville, and the NFC. Oh man, I don't know, man. It's a wide open thing, man. I think I'm thinking probably Green Bay. I'm thinking with the addition of Jimmy Grahams and those red zone. I'm thinking that Aaron got something to prove this year. So I'm gonna say an early prediction: Green Bay and Jacksonville.
And that's Walter Jones, everybody. Walter, thank you for joining us. Check out his website. It's b2edi.com, and that is the best to ever do it. Obviously, you are the best to ever do it, Walter. Thank you for your time, and hopefully we can catch up with you during the season.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.